Shalom. This Shabbat is called Shabbat Hagadol, the Great Sabbath, which is the name given to the Sabbath immediately prior to Passover. It's called so because of the great miracle that took place on the Sabbath just 4 days before the children of Israel departed from Egypt. Back in Exodus chapter 12 and verse 3, God told Moses and Aaron, "Speak to the entire assembly of Israel, saying, on the 10th of this month," that was a Sabbath that year, "they shall take for themselves each man a lamb or kid for each father's house." And when the Egyptians asked them what they were doing, the Israelites told them, "Well, what does it look like? We are fulfilling God's commandment, taking this lamb and holding it until the 14th of the month, preparing it to be slaughtered as the Passover offering in just another 4 days." And the Egyptians, even though they were confronted with the Jews planning to slaughter that which they worshipped in idolatry, they could do nothing to stop them. They were rendered totally impotent. That's what happens. That's the power that the Jewish people wield when they unabashedly follow God's command. So this Shabbat is a time of miracles, ushering in the season of miracles, which is what this month of Nisan is really all about, and what Passover is really all about. So we can expect them in our lives as well if we are ready. This week we are reading the second Torah portion of Sefer Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, Parashat Tzav. The Torah portion of Tzav, as well as last week's Torah portion of Parashat Vayikra, deal with the korbanot, the temple offerings. The different types of offerings described are brought according to various situations, some of them as atonement for sin, such as asham, the guilt offering, or chatat, the sin offering. Although, please note once again, sin offerings only atone for unintentional sins and only accomplish their goal if the bringer of the korban has a deep and serious sense of remorse and regret for his actions as he brings his offering. The offering alone does nothing without the transformation of the person. The atonement effected by the offering is not because of an animal's blood that was being spilled. The atonement, meaning the rectification of the spiritual damage that's caused by the negative energy of the sin, is effected because of the psychological and spiritual process that takes place within the person as a result of bringing the offering, the sincere, heartfelt desire to change. This is coming closer to God, and this is one example of what the Holy Temple experience is really all about. Of course, some of the offerings, such as the Todah, the Thanksgiving offering, are brought as an act of thankful recognition of God. And the Olah, the burnt offering, completely consumed on the altar, represents the highest level of spiritual yearning. As we begin to study the details, the many details of the many offerings, which are so varied, we begin to understand a general principle that applies to all the offerings. Namely, the korbanot are the conduits of a metaphysical process. The bringing of a korban, an offering, as the meaning of the Hebrew word conveys, brings about closeness. It aids to strengthen a connection, a bond between man and God. Today, as we prepare for Passover and prepare to read Parashat Tzav this week, I want to talk about little differences. Little differences between our two Torah portions of last week and this week. Little differences in life. Sometimes it's something very little that might seem insignificant that makes all the difference in the world. Like one word, or one little crumb, or one decision of motivation and resolve. So open up your heart in the deepest way. In a word, there's a major difference between the beginning of this week's Torah portion, Tzav, and the beginning of last week's Torah portion of Vayikra. Last week's Parashat Vayikra opened with a call, not a commandment. Vayikra means, and he called. But the portion of Tzav, well, Tzav means command. That's the name of the Parsha. For the first verses state, Hashem spoke to Moshe saying, command Aaron and his sons, saying, this is the law of the burnt offering. It is the burnt offering that stays on the flame on the altar all night until the morning, and the fire of the altar should be kept aflame on it. Why? Why did Vayikra, the beginning of this book, open with a call? and Tzav with a command. What's the significance? Now, the emphasis in Parashat Vayikra is on giving the offering. When a person brings an offering, as in the verse, for example, when a person will sin unintentionally from among all the commandments of Hashem that may not be done, and he commits one of them, etc. But in Tzav, the emphasis is on the technical aspects of how to bring the offering itself, the practical instructions. Command Aaron and his son, saying, this is the Torah, meaning the instruction of the burnt offering. This is the Torah of the mincha. This is the Torah of the sin offering. Each of these parshiot describes the different changing status of a person and his changing relationship with Hashem. Now in Vayikra, this emphasis on giving the offering, Hashem starts with calling out to a person. As in, would you like us to be closer? Would you like me to be more in your life? He doesn't command a person. He doesn't make him. He doesn't force him to draw close to him. Don't do it because you have to. Do it because you want to. The calling of Vayikra is only a suggestion. The drawing close is done through giving ratzon, through free will, through a desire, as a result of the desire of the giver. Parashat Tzav discusses the details of how the korbanot are to be offered, because then the person is already in a different situation, because this person has already decided that he wants to draw closer to God, or circumstances perhaps dictate that this person should seek to fix the relationship, and now that he has made that decision, he has an obligation to bring the offering according to Hashem's laws, according to the laws of the Torah that Hashem gave over to Moshe and the statutes. And now the expression of command is most appropriate, for Hashem has given his instruction to Moshe for how to do this. The command is life-giving. The command is uplifting, but it follows a call, and the call is not a command. What does this mean? There's a call. Hashem calling out to us, Hashem's beseeching us to consider his advice, which precedes the command. The command is holy, and the details of how to fulfill it are Hashem's will. But first comes the call, which is about the individual's ratzon, his desire to come close. We want to observe God's commands and follow his word, and we want to draw closer. Why? Because we have to? Or because we want to? My advice to anyone struggling with religion, don't do anything if you're only doing it because you have to. Come back and do it when you want to. What we're saying here is magnificent, and I hope you're listening. Fulfilling Hashem's mitzvot is an intrinsic necessity in our lives, but he wants it to be from the heart. I want to tell you something else. Pesach is here, just around the corner, just another few days. Passover is called the festival of freedom, festival of redemption. It marks the birth of the nation of Israel, the revelation of Hashem in the world, through signs and wonders, through a strong hand and an outstretched arm. All this grandeur, to paraphrase a Song of Songs, it's standing behind our wall and peeking through the cracks. And what are we very busy with the days before Passover? We are very busy with turning over the house, searching for chametz, for leaven, and removing it. We are very busy finding the crumbs of the cookies. The crumbs of the cookies. The deepest secrets of the Torah inform us that the first night of Passover, the night of the Seder, is a night of prophecy for all of Israel, and each individual ascends to the highest level, and every level of heaven opens up. Sparks of divine inspiration are flying, and prophecy shines through each one of us. Our sages teach that we must be prepared for this event, that whoever knows how to properly prepare for the powerful spiritual potential of this night of Passover will blossom and ascend to the highest level. This is the night of, you saw what I did to Egypt and how I bore you on eagle's wings and I brought you to me. So opening up your heart in the deepest way, I ask you, what have we been doing to prepare for this pivotal event? We've been vacuuming. and sweeping and scouring. We've been checking all the drawers and all the corners for crumbs, little crumbs. We clean the crumbs out of the cracks of the refrigerator. So really, what's the deal here? Finding the crumbs, is that how we prepare for prophecy? What does searching and scouring for these crumbs have to do with preparing ourselves to receive the highest light, most sublime level of holiness of the Seder night? I'll tell you what this is all about. Hashem is constantly calling out to us through everything in this world. This world is full of God, saturated with godliness. Godliness shines through everything, every aspect of creation, every person we meet, every challenge we face, every blade of grass is singing a song, every ray of sunlight. That's the whole secret of the month of Nisan and the joy felt by all of creation because of the resting of the Shekhinah in the tabernacle and because of the Exodus. That's why it's springtime, because we left Egypt. Hashem's goodness is revealed all around us and through each other. Such perfection and beauty and godliness. One doesn't have to look so far to see God's wonder and glory, this goodness, this joy, because the world is really full of it. But what prevents us from being in that eternal moment? What prevents us from receiving Hashem's light? The problem is the small things. The smallness of things, our smallness, the little crumbs that stand between us and all this and prevent us from closeness with Hashem. It's the littlest crumbs of insignificance that we hold on to, that hold us back and prevent us from seeing the good all around us. Sometimes one crumb of pettiness, of selfishness, of ego, that's stuck in a corner that you just can't reach. It can just destroy a whole life. If we can just remove that crumb, all of a sudden we can see the goodness. It was all here and we didn't see it on account of the crumb. That's the crumb that we're looking for. That's the crumb that we're looking for. It's the little crumbs that we permit to destroy us, our relationships, our loves, our goals, the littlest things that build up that we never bother to clean, all the damaged relationships between spouses and parents and children and friends and the whole world on account of some little crumbs. It's so great before Pesach to clean those crumbs. It leads to the highest level of prophecy. Let's be wanting to hear the call and to keep the command for its own sake, because we want to. Because we want to be there for Hashem as He is for us, as He bore us on eagle's wings. Let's prepare for the great miracles of Nisan and open up our hearts to receive the great light of redemption and freedom. And you know what? Between us, if we don't merit to bring the Passover offering this year in Jerusalem, may we merit at least to want to bring it, as Hashem calls us and commands us. And let's get past the little crumbs, the little things, so that we can see the really big picture, freedom and redemption. Chag kasher v'sameach, blessings for a happy and kosher Passover to you from Jerusalem.